Chitulakarnamarjanam Bhavamahadavagninirvakanam Shriyakairavachandrakavitaranam Vidyavadujivanam Anandam Gurivardhanam Pratipadam Puranamritasvaram Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Another episode of the Sankirtan podcast. And today we've got special guest Reuben Prabhu, who's been doing Sankirtan for many, many years. I've had the privilege of doing book distribution alongside him. He's always very inspiring. And I think, in fact, you were requested by quite a few devotees, actually, Prabhu, because there's a lot of devotees who may, those of us who've been maybe around just a little bit longer, like have understand that, there's some devotees around who've been doing book distribution for years and years and years and are experienced. And I think it's important that you share your realizations and your experience with the rest of us. So if you have any realizations or any inspiration that you've collected over these years, then please share them, Prabhu.
That's very kind of you to introduce me so nicely. Probably not worthy of that, but anyway. So no, what can I say about book distribution? Myself, I started distributing books. I think it was around. We went on the World Enlightenment Day. It must have been 1996 or 98, one of the two. I think it's probably 98. I think it was Ram Nishuna took us out from Soho Street, and he just gave us some higher tastes. He drove us to Tunbridge and sent us out onto the street. So we didn't get so much training in those days, but I remember it was a very nice. Yes, straight in like that, and it was. He was very nice, though, very sweet, Ram Nishuna. And then I just had a very nice day on the street, and I was thinking, wow, this is like amazing. It's it's got trying to approach people and get them to take a book. So no real idea. Then I went to Mayapur after I finished the PhD, and I went to Mayapur to teach in the Gurukul for a couple of years. But I was always thinking about Sankirtan book distribution. I used to pray to the Panchatattva deities there in Mayapur. Some point in my life, you allow me to distribute Prabhupada's books, because thinking, how will I get a chance? Because I kept thinking about how nice it was when we used to go on from Soho Street, And also, should give credit to Radha Raman Prabhu. He was our Sankirtan leader. So I came back to England in 2000, and I started working as a lecturer at university. But on Saturdays, we'd go out on books from Soho Street because I always wanted to do something to show some gratitude to Srila Prabhupada for what we'd received. So we'd go out, and that Saturday was so ecstatic to stop people, and like they come back in the evening, and then we done Harinam on Saturday night. It was like a perfect thing. Saturday, it's like became addictive slowly. The chants, and of course at the time the preaching was very strong for. If you want to please Prabhupada, go and distribute books, So that was like a thing that kind of, and then from that, I'd come back, I'd have Sunday, I'd get ready, go back to university, and then boring old life again, as a lecturer. Not that it's boring, it was compared to Sankirtan, And then I remember my wife was like, she was distributing books as well, and she used to collect money to make outfits for the deities, and make outfits with Sankirtan money. And then she said, I don't mind if you really want to distribute. And by the grace of Rasamrita Maharaj, he used to help me and guide me in my spiritual life. He calculated, because I said, I'm not really happy as a lecturer, I'd prefer to do. He said, what would you like to do? I said, I like to distribute books, but nothing can really maintain myself doing it. So he calculated, if you and your wife go out, you can make this much, you can pay your bills and go. So we started to go out on books full time in 2004. And one thing I wanted to say, that the association of, there's like, how could I say this, like Sridham, Premanava, there's characters like Dharma Setu Prabhu, he was at Soho Street at the time. Or just seeing these book distributors distributing this, it becomes infectious, seeing how much they were dedicating their time and energy. And in fact, I remember, I think I was mentioning to this morning when I say that, Adi Guru, I think in that time he was a brahmachari, and he won the marathon from Soho Street that year. And then they asked him to speak, what's your realizations? And he broke down in tears and said, "This is all Nityananda's mercy." I think, wow, this Sankirtan has such an effect on people that, and as you know, Gopal, when you start to go out, you get all these practical experiences that when you distribute books, then a lot of mercy comes to you. You've felt that over the years?
Oh yeah, if it wasn't for book distribution, I probably I wouldn't still be here.
Yeah,
To save me,
like that. So any book distributor that goes out, they get very quickly some lifted in their consciousness. So the same, and then just the infection of seeing other ways. Then we also have like people like Prabhupada Charan that we meet when we travel around the country, and a doctor, a doctor, I think his name's now, and they were just full on distributing books, around the country. We'd meet them at different events and stuff, and it was just so inspiring to see that generation of devotees distribute books and so dedicated. That's like one pointed in that activity. And then you have also, I remember Dalnitai Prabhu. He was another wonderful book distributor. Like what the one bits of training was a little conversation for 10 minutes or 15 minutes with him. That was the other training stuff. And then it's out again. So he was distributing, and we'd see him. And I don't know if you remember Radha Damodar. He left his body, I think maybe last year or the year before last. He used to be out with us as well. So all these, they're like real stalwart book distributors, they're just for years and years distributing books. So I think that inspired me more than just watching. And they were happy, This was the thing, they didn't seem to have too much, but they were happy sharing Krishna consciousness, and that, I think, is one of the main things that I saw, that they all had their little struggles and stuff that are going on, but you get a tangible taste of Krishna conscious when you try and share it with others, So that's, if there was one thing that's inspiring, it's those people that have taken that time and trouble, because it's austere, it's physically austere, mentally austere, and if you don't do your sadhana, it's certainly austere. So it's an activity that it forces you to take Krishna consciousness seriously. That's what I found more than anything, is that, and if even on the street, like if you want to cop out, there's no chance that you can really distribute books properly. You have to keep conscious all the time, and keep praying to Prabhupada, to Golitai, please help me, please allow him to stop people, like that. So it's a very, very engaging process. And I think that one of the main things is that it keeps you, when you're young especially, out of a lot of trouble. You've got no time. You're busy all day. Come back at night, have a shower, take something to eat, go to bed, because in the morning you've got to get up and do your sadhana properly. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to distribute books the next day. So it's like the only shot is a munching package of crisps at the end of the day, and a little bit of like that. But compared to what you could be doing, you know, it's like, it's nothing really. So I think that I think is one of the fortunes of having an opportunity. I feel it's really like more like a privilege to have a chance to distribute Prabhupada's books in this life. There's so much mercy coming, you know, like if you think about it, you know, Srila Prabhupada, he got the instruction that if you ever get money, print books in the English language, and that's what he did. He dedicated his life to preparing all this transcendental literature, and we have an opportunity to assist him by distributing it. You can imagine the person that's spread Krishna consciousness around the whole planet, pure Vaishnava, who's a dear devotee of Lord Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a very intimate associate, and we're getting a chance to be his little postman. And what good fortune that is, you know, because we have a chance to assist him in fulfilling the orders of his spiritual master, which is to spread Krishna consciousness in the English-speaking language, you know, by distributing his books. So it's a simple thing, but again, whenever you try and put your foot on the pavement and go out, and you see that there's like a whole sublime activity going on that you can't really imagine unless you try it, you know. So if we're talking like in general, you know, fathers, please try it, because it's like a magical world will open up for you if you try it. You don't have to be like myself. I've never been a huge book distributor, you know, but if you steadily go out and endeavor, there's like so much mercy. Like I was going to actually, is it okay if I read a poem to you that inspired me? I was mentioning.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, it's a non-devotional poem, but you know, Prabhupada would draw from many sources, so I'll take the liberty. This poem was I was cut one day at school because I wasn't, and they read out a poem in the class, and it inspired me when I was young. So it was called Timothy Winters. So my mum was an English teacher, so I went home and asked her, what's this poem all about, you know? So, but later on when I was issuing books, this poem came back in my mind because it kind of very much relates to Sankirtan, so I'll read it. I've shared it with a few Sankirtan devotees over the years, but never publicly. So here it goes. Timothy Winters comes to school with eyes as wide as a football pool. So Timothy Winters is a boy who's growing up in the Second World War. Yeah, ears like bombs and teeth like splinters. A blitz of a boy is Timothy Winters. So he's from a very impoverished background. You know, he's not well kept, as you can see. He goes, his belly is white, his neck is dark, and his hair is an exclamation mark. You know, like all jagged and everything, like when you're a kid and you don't have your shower and you walk around the house. But he was always like this, unfortunately. Yeah. His clothes are enough to scare a crow, and through his breeches the blue winds blow. So he was very, very, very poor. You know, he didn't have proper clothes, he had holes in them, you know. And when his teacher talks, he won't hear a word, and he shoots down dead the arithmetic bird. So he's not very well educated because he's got such a hard life. And he licks the patterns off his plate, and he's not even heard of the welfare state. Timothy Winters has bloody feet, and he lives in a house on Seward Street. He sleeps in a sack on the kitchen floor, and they say there ain't boys like him anymore. Old man Winters likes his beer, and his missus ran off with a bombardier, so he's coming from a broken family. So you can see what type of life this person has, you know. The welfare worker lies awake, but the law's as tricky as a 10-foot snake. So Timothy Winters drinks his cup and slowly goes on growing up. So this is his plight. He has a broken family background. Mum and dad are not together. Not very happy situation to live in. Now listen to this. This is the bit that's inspiring. At morning prayers, the master heaves for children less fortunate than ourselves. And the loudest response in the room is when Timothy Winters roars, Amen. Then it goes, so come on, angel, come on, 10. Timothy Winters says, Amen. Amen, 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 amen. Timothy Winters, Lord, amen. So what touched me was that here's a person that's suffering. And when he hears about other people suffering, he's thinking that people are suffering more than him. It says, so come on, angels, come on, 10. Timothy Winters says, Amen. Amen, amen, amen. Timothy Winters, Lord, amen. Because the whole principle is that if a person's heart is disposed to other people suffering and he wants better for them, then blessings come. So in our particular case, what I liked about it, when I was on Sankirtan, suddenly I was thinking about, saying, gosh, actually the Sankirtan devotees in Prabhupada's mission, they come from all walks of life with all sorts of troubles, but they've taken the trouble to distribute Prabhupada's books, and surely Srila Prabhupada and the Gurus will be showering their blessings upon them for taking that trouble despite the difficulties. So the Gurus, Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and so on, the whole Prabhupada will bless them for making an effort to go out of their comfort zone to help others that are suffering, which is, and they don't have to be expert or anything. They just have to use whatever they have to try to serve the Lord, and they'll get some amazing fortune. So I feel that that's the epitome of a modern day Sankirtan devotee coming from a Western background. Like I know myself, I was eating meat. I often tell people on the street, I was Captain Kebab before I came to the devotee. I was eating kebabs a whole lot, But somehow I met Jaidev Prabhu, another saintly devotee, and he encouraged me to chant the Maha Mantra. I thought, I'll test it out, see what's happening. And quickly, 3 months, I just stopped eating meat by the grace of the Maha Mantra. So why wouldn't someone that's getting so much of a change of heart share it with others? Yeah. So whichever, like, and now we're seeing like generations of devotees that, like, we were out, and then I remember that you all came along, your generation of devotees from Wales, and some of them are, that I saw we were talking about earlier, that they were a little jagged around the edges, but by doing Sankirtan,
you got a few Timothy Winters down here, Prabhu.
Yeah.
A few.
but they took the mercy, and you can see they're changing. That's so that good fortune for anyone that takes the trouble and time, their life can change. Like I know, me and Sridham, we just talked about, it's so amazing to have an opportunity to distribute books. Like, I feel so grateful to like Sridham and Premanand, because they're so steady and wanting to do Sankirtan. It makes it easier, when someone to go out like that, So having the sangha of other book distributors it's like a rare gift, and their inspiration, and they're all of them. They know what it's like to struggle themselves, and they're happy to try and help others stop their struggle. And you mentioned to me this verse. I thought we'd just read it. I'm not so great with Sanskrit. Tapiyanti loka tapena, yeah, sadeva prayasyo jnana va. I'll read the English translation for it. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. So here you can see that principle, that people are suffering, and it's difficult to go out in the cold. It's difficult to stand on the street for 8 hours, 6 hours, whatever it is, even to go for 1 hour. It's difficult to start even when you just start on the street. But when you take on that voluntary suffering, like Sankirtan Yagya, everything becomes blissful slowly. Even if you have a terrible day, the next day you'll sit down and chart your rounds very carefully because you don't have a second terrible day. You start to shake short of the process. You start to wonder who did I offend today? Maybe I should be a bit more careful. It regulates you in a very sweet way. Prabhu, forgive me for what I don't know, but you forgive me. Forgive me, I can't distribute books probably till yesterday, so whatever it is, just like that. So it humbles you. It's a very beautiful process to go out on books and regulate your life. And I think I remember, and another one, Chaitanya Vallabha, another stalwart. And I think I was watching a bit of his clip to get an idea of what I was going to say today. I think he mentioned, like Sankirtan's like a lifestyle. Your whole life, if you're in good consciousness and you're trying to remember Krishna all day, then when you go on the street, things work out properly, But to the degree there's holes in that, to the degree that smoothness on the street seems to evaporate slowly. So, but that's it's certainly like that. That's the nice thing when you speak to and you hear the realizations of Sankirtan, is that they all share a common kind of set of experiences in one sense, even though they're unique to each one. So I'd say these are some of the important things. And then I just like to show also the appreciation we've got now, at least in the manner. We've also got Divyanam Prabhu. He's Divyanam is encouraging so many congregational devotees to go out on Saturdays, Sundays, door to door, and they're working and they're getting an opportunity to take part in the Sankirtan mission. So to have people taking that time and trouble to organize and manage those things, which is, as you know, management's not it's a headache. It's a lot of hard work to keep everything organized and so on. And then we've got Vrindavan who's doing the same with Srimad Bhagavatam sets. We've got a whole group regularly. But if you look at our WhatsApp threads, sets went out to these people and so on. So, and that's happening all around the country. That was before, it was usually just on the street, a few people like going out, but now all these other ways that by the grace of Vaisheshekhar's inspiration, Prabhu's his inspiration it's growing, so it's a tribute to all these different devotees. I also wanted to mention Gudruma Prabhu. You don't know so much about it. He was a Scottish Sankirtan leader, and he's at the manor now, and he's preaching to the congregation and so on. But he's such a big. He's still distributing books, but he preaches to the congregation and so on. But he's got that lovely Sankirtan spirit because of all the book distribution he's done, and he used to drop all the boys out in the different towns around Scotland. I was speaking to one of his devotees. He said about him, this is really nice actually. He said that he's the best authority I ever worked under. He said it was so much fun to preach under his guidance. And so it's all these amazing devotees that perhaps if we had them come on and speak like Gudruma is around, he's like he's those Gaurangas that we see on the motorways. So he was organizing the painting of that. I was like,
if the police are watching, if you're looking for
so I mean, they could tell you some very sweet stories, but he's the same now. He still gets people to say Gauranga, that's and encourages them. Yeah, so there's so many nice things we could say about book distribution, but I guess we've probably gone well over time, so maybe we should stop there. And thank you for giving me.
No, it's really nice to hear your appreciation. I would like that, and that's the nice thing about devotees who've done such serious service for so long, how your heart is vibrating with appreciation. It reminded me of, the sections in Chaitanya Charitamrita where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, and then there's this devotee, and then this devotee, like the devotees of Lord Nityananda, and he's just saying their names, and I think, I think it's really nice. One day it'd be nice to have a nectarian book about all these wonderful Sankirtan devotees.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that if somehow we could spend a little bit of time to get them to speak, it would be nice as well. Like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on the street with Dharma Setu. I'm distributing halfway through the day. He's going back to Soto Street to get his second box of books. And I'm still scratching my head on the first one. It's like amazing devotees. Yeah, like they've done so much service. So all glories to the Sankirtan devotees. And I guess the thing is that we've got also Mother Guru Shakti. It's like every day I come for morning program, I'm a bit late for the morning program, which is they're charting us sadhana very carefully, without fail, and then she's distributing books, like so. There's so many of them, that exemplary kind of sadhana as well, so very careful with the sadhana. I think I wish I could be like that one day, I like just a man band that roams around trying to distribute books and keep it all together somehow,
No, Reuben, you are one of those amazing Sankirtan devotees.
I wish I was. I do my bit. And of course, our Keshav Maji he was our Sankirtan leader, and he's always been very, very nice in the way he set up, arranged things for all of us. So that now we've got Antaranga Prabhu, who's like doing his things in Liverpool. So, and it's starting to explode there, like that. So he's focusing on building relationships in one area. That's like that. So he was telling me that, it's nice when Mr. Guys to go around the country, but now I'm doing this, so austerity, but to do that, to get some preaching done in a different way. So that's the heart of a Sankirtan devotee there. And perform some austerity to benefit others. This is the nice thing, And so that I guess we stand to gain by taking on that austerity. It's our good fortune that we have a chance. That's the thing that I guess I'd stress more than anything. When you take that time and trouble, it's the easiest way to get recognized by Krishna, because you're like one of his soldiers. And we're assisting. Real preaching is done by the pure Vaishnavas, but we're just assisting, helping them by distributing their books and encouraging people to chant in our little way. And that's our good fortune, that we have some little position to keep us up. Maybe another time we can talk about stories and like that, but I think it's a bit long for now. Everyone's got to actually get a marathon.
We'll definitely get you in for a longer interview.
Hare Krishna.
Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti